Welcome to Lanterns Live, the only YouTube channel that live streams about Green Lantern. I'm joined by Will. We both saw Superman, and we're going to give you our spoiler-free thoughts on it. Before we do that, I had some news that I wanted to talk about. Oh, this is what I wanted to do a TikTok about this, and I didn't. And I figured I'll just talk to you about it now. Is Nathan Fillion was on Kimmel.
Okay.
And Anthony Anderson, who's the guest host right now while Jimmy's on vacation, asked Nathan Fillion about the different color spectrum that are out there. And Nathan Fillion seemed to you could see the wheels turning. And he mentioned red lanterns and black lanterns. And then said, red is rage and black is death. I think wow, that guy's really ready. That guy's fired up on this news.
Yeah.
Dude, so for me, we know that Nathan Fillion is a Guy Gardner fan. We know that he's a comic reader. I don't know how current he is on his Green Lantern reading. But the fact that he brought up those two Lantern Corps specifically, that those two Lantern Corps were on his mind, I have a feeling that our speculations on the Lantern series, which he's already shot, which he's read the scripts, which he's been involved with, we've speculated that those are the two Lantern Corps. We know Sinestro's in the show. Those are the two Lantern Corps that we've suspected being in the show. And for me, the fact that those two popped in his head, really, really lead me to believe that we might be getting those Lantern Corps in Lanterns, and then mixed with the fact that he talked about Guy Gardner wanting to own a bar. Is that also in the show?
I think it's possible. I think the character descriptions that we've been given for some of the characters, like William Macon, Billy Macon, there was we believe that there are hints there that they could be Black Hand, probably Black Lanterns in general. And then there was a third character description that dropped that very much reads like it could be a Red Lantern that we know. It would be really, really awesome to go from the Superman movie, see Guy in Peacemaker a little bit, don't really know what his role is in that. And then we get to Lanterns, and now more people are familiar with Green Lantern in general due to Superman and Peacemaker, and then we get into the wider lore of Lanterns, where it's not just the greens. It would be really, really cool.
I have a theory about Peacemaker season 2. This isn't a spoiler. This is just what I think is going to happen, because we saw him step through the interdimensional door. I believe that, and we've also in the trailer saw Peacemaker versus Peacemaker. There's two Peacemakers.
Yeah.
I think Peacemaker from the DCEU steps into the DCU and takes over that other piece, the Peacemaker in the DCU, and takes over his character. So it's basically James Gunn. Theory. Yeah, it's James Gunn's character going over from there to here. And that's why Guy Gardner looks the way he does in the DCU, and the DDK, Detachable Kid, looks the way he does in the Suicide Squad. Yeah. I feel like it's two different worlds. I think the Chris that we know from Peacemaker season 1 is leaving the DCEU and walking through the door and killing the Peacemaker in DCU.
Fantastic.
And that's when he goes and does the interview, when he's like, oh shit, I'm going into this interview.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. And I'm looking forward to seeing where Guy Gardner goes in that, and then how he's going to be different in Lanterns. Nathan Fillion has said that he's a more amped up version of Guy Gardner in that show, which is pretty crazy because we've seen Superman and how he is in Superman.
Yeah, and I mean, are we getting into it?
Let's get into it. That's why everyone's here.
I love absolutely loved Nathan Fillion's performance and the writing for Guy Gardner in the Superman movie. It was all the things I wanted to see from him. Again, I'm not going to give spoilers, but obviously there's constructs in the movie, and I think that Guy does a good job getting creative with constructs that I think suit him very well, but aren't too over the top. I think that his dialogue in scenes with like Superman himself was very well done, and it is Guy. He can be a bit of a smart butt, and I think the comedy with Guy also landed really, really well for me. Like there's only one thing in the movie that I was maybe hoping to get from Guy, and we didn't. But I think maybe they're saving for Lanterns, which I think is also really cool.
There's two things.
Oh,
and they're both interconnected. We brought this up on a previous episode. I think it was last week, where we saw a new clip of Guy Gardner. We're talking about the scene where Lois rips into his hair and talks about his vow. There's two things I wanted to see, and I'll say, if you have this figure and you wonder why he doesn't have an open hand, the movie just you know why, because an accessory is not in the movie. I'm just gonna say it. I'll let you know. I mean, this isn't a spoiler because it doesn't have it, but there is no battery. We don't see the power battery in the movie. So I will say that really, really was hoping for it. Like I was just like, man, just be in there, just be in there. The scene that I thought was going to happen was played in full on Jimmy Kimmel Live. And the whole time I was looking at the table where a guy was sitting, I'm like, please tell me there's a power battery. Please tell me. And it wasn't there. No. So that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to talk about the constructs a little bit. For anybody who has any questions about the movie, we'll answer them as far as it's, we won't answer spoilers, but we can give vague things. There are constructs in the movie. They are very fun constructs. Yes. I think they're very Guy constructs. We know that Guy is involved with the kaiju fight. There's really two constructs that he does in there involving the kaiju's hands and the kaiju's eye that I thought were so good.
Yep.
And they look really good.
Yeah.
They look really good. They have kind of an aqua color. They're not like bright green light. It's almost like a flubber, like a greenish, like almost a teal a little bit, and it's got like a sparkle inside.
Did you see it in IMAX?
Yeah, it wasn't like a true IMAX, but it was an IMAX theater, which I like because I want to be able to see the compositions and the frame. But I mean, you can't, like, IMAX sound is like really, really what I'm there for. Like, I want to see it on a big screen.
Yeah. The fiance had to cover her ears at one point during some of the fight scenes because there was like a saw noise that was kind of like the speakers had to be right next to us for that part. It was loud. But yeah, I think the constructs on screen looked really, really good. Seeing them in stills, you kind of have an idea, but when you see them, even in like the trailers they played, I definitely think that some of that stuff has been touched up in the actual movie. Like everybody's seen in the – there's a scene where Guy comes to confront Superman inside of a building and he like shoots the construct towards the window, and then it hits and kind of like hits the window. It makes a mark and then it kind of goes away. But that's not the finished product of it in the movie. Again, not really like a spoiler, but like he blocks the windows completely with his construct when he comes inside. I just think those, and also, you know, a lot of people hate the hair.
Didn't bother me once.
Also hated the hair, but actually seeing it in the movie, it was not bad or as obnoxious. And I think that anybody who felt like that as you're watching it, your intro to Guy and like the first 2 or 3 scenes with Guy, you're like, this definitely suits him, and the hair, it goes with Guy for sure, especially in this movie. Like it fits.
He's so arrogant. He's so arrogant in this movie. He's kind of a self-proclaimed leader. He is just just a complete asshole. And I think they call him an asshole in the movie.
Yeah.
But it helps with the character, because I'm going to let you guys know, like, people were like, how are you going to introduce all these characters? How are you going to, there's so many characters in this movie. There's too many characters. You have to like, how is James Gunn going to like set up who these characters are? And what's great is he doesn't.
Yeah.
The characters are just there. They just exist. For me, the movie feels like, and I've been saying this, it feels like a 7-issue arc in a comic book that you just pick out of the middle of a ongoing series. So you don't really get the origins of anybody. There's like 0 origins in this movie. I don't think there's a single, not even like
no.
They just show up. You kind of have to just like go with the flow. And so with Guy, you get that he's arrogant right away. But then to put the haircut on, you understand as an audience member, if you're not familiar with this character, you're like, this guy's a dope. And he's arrogant, which means he's like a total phony, and he's like way into himself. And it's perfect. The haircut works. If he had like a regular haircut, like just a Nathan Fillion cut, or the more modern comic version of Guy, which is like this, where it's kind of like short on the sides and just tall up top with the up swoop. It would probably take if he looked any cooler, the audience wouldn't understand, like, this guy is just like a cool guy who's the leader. But with the haircut, you're like, this guy looks like a dope.
Yeah, I think more so than any other character, the hairstyle for Guy definitely enhances the performance that we get. And there are a lot of characters in this movie, and like Ralph was saying, nobody's backstory is given. They do a quick little thing at the front of the movie where it's like, for X amount of years, metahumans have been around. X amount of years ago, this thing happened. X amount of years, this happened, and now here we are today, basically. And what I'll say is, maybe this is kind of just James Gunn's like wheelhouse, is having all these characters where he has big ensemble cast in other movies and stuff. I talked to my fiance Emily when we were leaving, because she's not really familiar with a bunch of these characters, like Mr. Terrific, Hawk Girl she knew, Metamorpho she did not know.
Right. She
wasn't confused about any of it. There was no like need to ask questions about character motivations or backstory or who they were or what their powers were. They just did, and just got stung by a bee. They just did a great job of introducing these characters and just throwing them into the thick of things and not having it be confusing for anybody.
Right. Speaking of Metamorpho, again, we really don't get origins, but there is a scene where, and I don't think it's in any of the trailers, but it's a scene with Superman, Crypto, Metamorpho, and another character heading into being sucked into a void of sorts. And I sat there and I watched those shots, and I'm like, how are non-DC readers going to take what we're watching? Is your arm going to be okay? Like, you're not allergic to bees or anything.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
But he's now dead on the ground in front of me. I got stung by a bee one time when I was like 12 or 13, right before a baseball game, and I played through it. So we're good if there is any sort of the only thing I'm allergic to is dust, and I don't think he carried any with him.
Okay. Are you okay? Well, as long as you're safe.
Yeah.
As long as you're okay.
If I start looking very pale, let me know.
Right. I'm pretty sure you're near a hospital. You can take care of that if anything happens.
I'm sure they have some in here. We're at the little
right.
Like you were asking, Emily really didn't seem confused about any of it. She did make a comment about, like, as they were in that area in general, like how good the CGI was for everything. And
Uh-huh.
again, like I don't know. I mean, maybe she knows enough about comics and stuff because she's in a relationship with me and I talk about it a lot. But I think I don't think people are going to be too confused. It is a little bit. The movie's more fantastical than I think
Yeah,
some
that's
people
wild.
were expecting. Especially if you're coming from, hey, I heard this new Superman movie's coming out. Let me go watch the old Superman movie, the most recent one, and see like what the vibe is like. And if you watch that, it's
It's not.
significantly darker, not just in how they shot it, but like the tone of the movie itself. Um, this one is very much more upbeat. There's very heartfelt and warming parts to the movie, but there's definitely comedy in there as well. But just I keep saying this to everybody. I am not a Superman fan
Right.
at all. That's just
Right.
not a character that appeals to me. To me, it's like it's too easy. It's too godlike. It's not believable. And I have yet to watch a Superman specific film, even the Reeves ones. I don't know, it's like sacrilegious. But even those, I watch and I'm like, I'm watching and it's entertaining, but I still don't really care.
Yeah.
This is the first Superman movie for me where I was like, oh my God, am I a Superman fan right now? I don't know.
So let's talk about the performances. I think David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan were amazing. She's easily my favorite Lois Lane.
Yeah.
David Cornsweet, I mean, I'm not a, I listen, I grew up with the Donner Superman. Superman 2 was on cable all the time. Um, I understand their praise, but I don't follow people in that praise. I'll say this, it might be controversial, it may not, but I think turning the Earth backwards on its axis is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a comic book movie.
When I was
It's
a
so
kid,
dumb.
I thought that was awesome. But yes, as I've
Well,
gotten older, I'm like, ah.
like I feel like he could, if he was going so fast where he enters the Speed Force and travels back in time, that's one thing. But if you stop the axis of the Earth, people are gonna
Yeah.
like that's what creates gravity. And so it's like one of those things where I'm like, if the Earth didn't spin and he was just like going so fast, he was traveling back in time, fine. But the Earth spinning thing, it's always drive me nuts.
That's what I
And
was saying, where it's like you watch it and you can be entertained, but if you like look into it and think about it, you're like, I don't know.
but I think with this movie, what I think is fun about I'll get back into the corn sweat of it all. Um, but like there's stuff that's like way more fantastical in this. Like we did
Yeah,
mention Pocket Dimension. There are other it's like just crazy stuff, but
like kaiju.
it's usually like backed up with like dorky like tech jargon, which
Yeah,
which comes from like Mr. Terrific, who again, amazing performance. Nathan Fillion, amazing. Hot Girl was amazing. Nicholas Hoult, I thought was really, really good. I really like the Lex. I really like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor,
hmm
but Nicholas Hoult plays it completely different. Um, all the people that work for Lex, fucking assholes.
yes, but like
Every
in a good
single
way.
one of them. But like, yeah, we're like,
You
it's
want
just,
to
but
dislike them, you do.
you're like, I want Superman to destroy everybody, but that's not this Superman. he's 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 got a moral compass, and
Yes,
I really enjoy that. So like for me, what really makes this movie, you can like there's people and there's some people in the chat here that are um, yeah,
what are
we
they
might
saying?
getting a little too much context. But for me, like all the performances make the movie work. I've said this with like Green Lantern, the animated series. Like, I don't think the animation and the level of technology they were at the time in 2011 when they made Green Lantern, the animated series, I don't think it's top tier or good. Like, it's serviceable
Yeah,
animation, but it's the acting and the directing that really make that show great. With
yep,
this, if you're a fan of the look of a Snyder movie or a Matt Reeves movie or the way Patty Jenkins shot Wonder Woman, whatever you're a fan of, James Gunn does stick to his style, and that's fine. If that's not your thing, that's okay. But I think the performances are there to really grab you and pull you in the story. So like when you see like the shot of Superman that people were complaining about, his face looked weird or whatever because of the lens that they were using.
Yeah.
In the context of the movie, you'd forget that stuff.
You wouldn't even really notice it. It's so quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you see the clips in the trailers and stuff, they're pretty much like feel more out of context. Mm-hmm. And they spliced like kaiju fight scenes with Hammer Baravia scenes, which both take place in Metropolis, but it's one of those things where it's like visually I liked it. I thought the movie looked great. The colors really popped.
Yes.
The costumes, the Justice Gang costumes didn't bother me once in the movie. Oh. Guy Gardner, like as much as I'd love to see him in the classic Guy jacket, and I'm hoping we get that for Lanterns, didn't bother me in this at all. Not at all. Yep. It makes sense that they're wearing the same costumes. They're definitely a team that was pulled together and given uniforms. And I think the uniforms work well on screen. On the big screen, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. It's same as the hair. I think it's really funny that Guy Gardner thinks so highly of himself, but he's you know still a sellout that's wearing the sort of the Justice Gang suit. Let me go through some questions real quick, and we'll try to be as spoiler free as possible. Well, this is for Lanterns. Ryan asks, I can't remember, has it been confirmed if Sinestro has his own core in Lanterns? Do they mention that he's a rogue Lantern in the press stuff for him? I think they did.
I think that they said something along the lines of like he was a former Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So
whether he's full yellow or not, we don't know.
Yeah, I would assume he is. Otherwise, how's he getting to Earth? Yeah. So he's a former Green Lantern, and he's one of Hal Jordan's greatest adversaries and friends. He's got to be a yellow at this point in the story.
Right. Deku asked, did Superman kill the Raptors with the 360 spin from the trailer? I'm not going to say.
Yeah, that would be a little bit spoilery for everybody.
Honestly, you will get an answer.
Yeah.
You will get an answer.
I think you'll like it.
Here we go. So, here's a guy that says, funny how Snyder got lambasted for a rushed and overstuffed, but this movie does it even worse. I don't think so. And also, I think you are a monkey bot. There we go.
Yeah. I think that
first monkey bot.
If you want to make the argument that some of the story could be rushed, I could probably I don't fully agree with that, but I could see where you're coming from. To say that it's overstuffed, I think if you watched the movie, it doesn't feel overstuffed at all. You're still getting your focus on Superman, and all of the side characters definitely get enough that they either get their cool moment, or they're involved in like the side story so much that they're getting enough screen time. It's not just like they're thrown in there just to be thrown in there.
I will say this: it's about a 2 hour. I think it's 2 hour and 8 minutes, including credits. And what is great is I appreciate the shorter runtime. Like, as much as I love the Batman, I don't rewatch it because it's so long. It's just such a long movie. So I'm glad that this is short. Also, because they're not dealing with Superman's origin. It just starts off with Superman existing. And so what that does is gets you right into the plot. It lets you know, it gives you a heads up on what this world is, and then Superman is just there. And so you're able to just hit the ground running And so it's packed. There's a lot of stuff in here and there's a lot of characters, but I don't think at any time it feels like it's too much or overwhelming or any
Right.
character isn't really developed. Again, Mr. Terrific gets moments to shine. Hawk Girl, Guy, like these are like characters where like, man, he's really throwing a lot of new ideas and people into the mix, but they still have some time to breathe. There's a great scene with the Justice King and Lois, which we saw in, TV spots, which just visually they set up like everything you need to know about these three Justice Gang members, where they're at in their career.
Yeah.
And then it ends with, like one line that's basically like where they're heading, what trajectory they're heading towards.
And they had good chemistry too.
They were great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really liked Hawk Girl. I think Hawk Girl is the only one that I wish had a little more.
Yeah, she had the least
stuff.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she gets a cool moment. I think obviously I was going in looking to anything that dealt with Guy and was hoping that it was going to be good, and it was. But I feel like Mr. Terrific was like the other MVP of the movie, where the way it was written and his performance, he killed it. Like, I would definitely look forward to more stuff with him in it.
There's one line of dialogue when Mr. Terrific shows up to a place with Lois, and one of the people watching Mr. Terrific come in says one line where it's like, I fully understand what this character has been going through and what he's been dealing with, and he's about to show them all they're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's pretty terrific. Misty Step says, crazy how we got this movie because James Gunn got canceled on Twitter. Yeah. I think about that all the time. Like, dude, like, got fired from Guardians 3. He wasn't going to do Guardians 3. Knee-jerk reaction from Disney. They fire him. DC's like, hey, come over, do whatever you want. They offered him Superman. He said, I'm not doing Superman. I'll do the Suicide Squad. Did that. And because of their relationship while making that movie, he not only is he like end up doing this movie, but he's now kind of overseeing DC Studios, which for me is really great. And I'll tell you why. Because people are like, I don't like James Gunn. Fuck James Gunn. He's stupid. Whatever. I get all the comments on YouTube. I get all those comments on YouTube. I see them all. Some of them I delete. Some of them I'll just reply with MonkeyBot, and we'll move on from there. For me, what I like, and I heard this interview, I believe it was one of the press junket ones that they've been doing in that building. He said that DC is great because they don't have to like conform to any kind of style. It's going to let the directors do their thing. So if you're not a fan of James Gunn's style, you might really like the Clayface movie, which is is that James Mangold's doing that one?
Yeah, it's like not a low budget, but it's a significantly lower budget than Superman, but it's going to be like a horror film.
Yeah, like a body horror film.
Yeah. And
it's one of those things where it's like, it's not going to look like this movie. Clayface, I in my head at least, and I'm sure this is somewhat similar, is not going to look like this movie.
No, not at all.
It's not going to, and that's been the case for a long time. Like Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I really enjoy, and I like Man of Steel, and I like Batman v Superman more than most people do. Like that Ultimate Cut, I really, really like. I think that was at the time my favorite portrayal of Clark Kent. Like all the stuff that of him in Gotham City that got cut, I'm like, you lost the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
But what's great is like Zack Snyder had Jason Momoa, and Jason Momoa was playing Aquaman, and it was a fun take. But then you have James Wan, who did the Aquaman movies, completely different tone, completely different visual style. But just having Jason Momoa in that role, he was able to kind of shift from being sort of a brooding guy in the sea to being sort of the swashbuckling guy in this other movie. And so even though the styles are completely different, there still feels like a continuity there. And I do like I do like that the movies in DC look different from each other. That's how it is in comics. I could read
Yeah,
something by, I could read a story from like Todd McFarlane and read a Spawn book at the same time. I could go read like a Mike Allred book, and they are completely different things. And that's what's great about comics. You can have a Spider-Man, drawn by John Romita, and it looks different than McFarlane's Spider-Man.
yeah,
But it's still the same character, and it doesn't matter because comic fans understand like that. People have different styles. Like I've been really enjoying like Germanico's art on Green Lantern, but also like what is his name?
V. Ken Myron.
Yes, V. Ken Myron's art, completely different styles.
Yeah,
But I like them both. And so that's what I like about DC. And that's what I like about James Gunn saying this stuff. Like, hey, we're going to let the artists and directors do their visions without it conforming to one single thing. Because one of the things that I don't like about the Marvel movies is they all look the same. I want to be excited for Fantastic Four, but that city street set that they're using in Fantastic Four looks identical to the city street set in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like
I just think a lot of this stuff should be dictated by the story, but when you break it down, like who is the hero and who is the villain involved? Like challenging the Joker to a battle, it should look completely different than being challenged by the Riddler. The sets should look completely different. The tone should be completely different. Not everything needs to be the same. And I think comic books do very well. Like again, you can read a very bright, fantastical Flash story, and then pick up something more grounded like a Green Arrow story, and still like them both, even though they're completely different in the writing. Like you feel that there's a connection there, but ultimately they're very different types of things, and they should look different. They should feel different. There's something for everybody out there.
Yeah. And what I love is in DC Comics, when you'll get like a panel of a Green Lantern issue that just has Mr. Terrific standing in the background.
Yeah.
And you don't really think twice about it. He may just be there to serve the story for like one line or two. And so that's one of the things I liked about this movie was like, there's characters that exist. There's some cameos in here where you're just like,
yep,
great. I'm glad that this universe already it doesn't need to explain where everybody comes from. They just are all there. Amir asks, wait, did they end up playing the John Williams theme? I will spoil this. It's the very first thing you hear. It is definitely in the movie. And I think James Gunn has mentioned that too. And it's all over the trailers. But yes, John Williams' theme is absolutely in the movie. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but it's the very first thing you hear. 100%. And
I don't think it's too spoilery. They were using it for the trailers, you know?
Yeah. But yeah. Amir's excited. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Yeah, I think the music, obviously, if you're familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad and all that, James Gunn does a really good job. If his music taste in those movies is something that you enjoy, that kind of carries over. There's like Superman specific things, and then there's always stuff where he plays like not modern songs, but like songs that you would recognize in different moments of the movie. And I think he does a good job of like going between worlds in that regard too. Music in the film was done very well.
Yeah, I thought so too. The score by John Murphy, and I didn't catch the other person's name. My apologies. I thought was pretty good. A lot of it electronic. It didn't sound like a Williams score at all. It sounded more modern, which I think was a good take. Reminded me of Tron Legacy a little bit, especially when it came to stuff like Lex Luthor's theme and stuff. But it was I didn't have any issues with it. It never stood out to me. I just noticed scores because I'm like a massive like film score fan. But it was never distracting to me, which is great. So the music was wonderful. I might listen to some of that score later. Is that the Ride for the Bee?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, on the way here, Emily put on one of the songs from the film as we were driving in. She's like, "It took me forever to find this, but she was like, I think you get a kick
James,
out of it."
yeah,
Yeah.
that's James Gunn finding
Another
deep
thing that
cuts.
this is not a spoiler, but it's
Mhm.
just like a heads up. There's two post credit scenes, so if you're sticking
Right.
around, there's like a mid roll one, and then if you wait until the end, there's the second one. Won't tell you what they were or whatever, but if you're somebody who likes to sit through the full experience and make sure you didn't miss something, there are two.
You'll get a little extra bit for
Mhm.
sure. For sure. Um, yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about a name that was attached in the credits? Two
Oh,
names.
I want to talk about that because I did notice two names. I was looking for the third. I didn't notice the third. So yes, in the credits under special thanks, we get I saw Tom King
Hmm.
and I saw Damon Lindelof,
Yes,
which for me I didn't see Chris Mundy, but I
I didn't
know I
either,
saw
but I
those
popped when
two.
I saw Lindelof.
Yeah, so one of those things I was like, as I was sitting through the credits, I'm like, oh wait, are we getting a Lanterns post credit scene? Like, are
That'd have
we
been
going to get
awesome.
Hal and John? I'm like, are we doing this? Um, uh, the inclusion of them, I really want to find out. So okay, I've been talking about this for a while. The Superman screening at the Warner Brothers lot that I was invited to ended up like falling through. Like it was too packed to the point where the person that invited me was like, I can't even get like my wife in. Like it's
Yeah,
he's literally just like he has one ticket. And so I was like, no worries. I said, honestly, the only reason why I wanted to get on the lot is to go swing by Damon's office and drop off a letter. Um, so what I did instead was I mailed him a letter thanking him for being in my movie Getting Lost, and then also maybe possibly seeing if he'd like to come on the show and join us to talk about his love of Green Lantern. But I'm now really curious. Like, number one question for him is, what was his involvement with Superman to get a special
yeah.
thanks? Did he do any sort of script punch up? Did he do any what did he see like an early screening and like a test screening or do something and then give like some input on editing or story stuff? Like I'm really curious.
I
Um,
know James has said for a long time that like Tom King was like integral to all this. He was like one of the first names he named early on and said like he would sort of have a role in just
mhm,
about everything that was coming out under like the official DC Studios DCU. Um, the earliest rumors of Damon Lindelof being attached to Lantern specifically uh, was like a year before it got announced. So I
yeah,
wonder if it started off with James reaching out to Damon to ask for, just read through this, tell me what you think. Does this make sense to you, type of thing? And then while working with him, being like, hey, we're also going to put together this thing around Green Lanterns. Do you want to be involved with that? Or if it was the other way around, or they pitched
right,
Lanterns to him and they were like, well, while you got a free second, you mind taking a look at this? Because I'm sure they must have done some sort of touch up on either script or dialogue or sharing something about maybe Guy Gardner since he's a Green Lantern. I don't know.
yeah,
But,
maybe,
you know, Damon Lindelof is a stud. And the only way my girlfriend was going to watch Lanterns is when she found out that he was attached to the project. So she was like the one who pointed out to me as the credits were scrolling that his name was on there. And then I
yeah.
was like, did you see what it was for? And she was like, no, I missed that part.
It was a
And that's when I
special
was like, oh,
thanks.
I'm going to text you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a special thanks. It was a long list of people, but yeah, my eyes went directly to Lindelof, and then I saw Tom King, and I by the time it had gone up, I don't know if I had missed Chris Mundy or not, but man, like I'm so excited about Lanterns.
Yeah. And I'll say that no, watching this film has not decreased my hype for Lanterns now. I am only that much more excited for it. It's definitely helped my hype for the show. Like we've had things for DC Studios now with Creature Commandos. We'll get
Mhm.
Peacemaker, but this was like the first big thing that was supposed to like kind of kick off the universe on the big screen at least. and I think they nailed it. I think reviews are starting to roll in. For a comic book movie, the reviews seem pretty high from critics. And checking it this morning, it looked like fans had it at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, again, through the roof for a comic book
Yeah.
movie. So it seems like people who are going to see it are mostly coming away pretty happy with it overall. And just hopefully this leads to, hopefully it does well at the box office to the point where we get even bigger and greater things going forward. A Green Lantern movie would be ideal.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hopefully that series can go into a movie, because like the amount of DC weirdness that's in this, I'm like, if audiences are into this, they'll be into the weirdness of uh, of a Lantern's film.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think all of that talk of Lanterns being grounded, like I don't know, like I don't know what to make of that, because this seems so, like I don't know. It's the
I think
opposite. Like this
I
movie
think
is.
yeah, this movie could be described as grounded as well if you wanted it to, but there's a
Yes.
whole bunch of elements in it that are not grounded. They're
Yeah.
fantastical, and I expect to see the same thing from Lanterns. Some of the story being a grounded story, probably how we start out is very grounded, and then we get
Yeah.
to space, hopefully Oa. We're seeing different lantern cores. Again, if you're introducing potentially black lanterns, green lanterns, yellow lanterns, and red lanterns, it cannot be just a grounded show.
Right. Right. I keep going back to the constructs, um, and I could see like dude, like they're so good, and I want to see if Lanterns sticks to sort of the Jeff Johns version, where the constructs look like kind of work different for the different characters.
That's what I would like to see.
I kept waiting to see if Guy's ring was constantly sparking because of his erratic nature. I didn't see any of that, but I'm wondering, like, also, like, based on Guy's ring and what we've seen, how it looks, and what we've seen Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan ring looks, I wonder if the constructs will look the same or if they'll be somewhat different.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good call out too.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that maybe Comic-Con they show something off.
I need something. That's in 2 weeks. I'll be
Yeah,
up there
right around the corner.
Thursday. Yeah, I'll be up there Thursday for the Lost panel, but I'm going to be back down here, or back in Anaheim, whenever the DC panel goes. And I think it's just James Gunn just chatting DC, and I'm hoping he brings something for Lanterns, and something that gets released on the internet so that, we can take a look.
Yeah.
I'm hoping just a photo of the costumes or a tease of the costumes or anything. I feel like we've come too far for the costumes to be sort of not comic accurate. I think we're ready.
Yeah.
I think the
I
world is
think
ready.
yes, I think the world will absolutely accept comic book accurate, weird looking costumes like that don't just like I don't know.
James
Not
Gunn.
everybody needs to like I don't know. It's hard to explain it, but you watch some of these movies and like I don't need everybody in like an Arrow. Everybody had like a similar, very grounded, down to earth. Like, yeah, we could make this quickly in real life type of costumes. Green Lantern Corps should be able to have like their own different pieces that make them stand out from one another, that look fantastical as well, or more sci-fi based than just being like, here's some leather and some sculpted arms. I want to see something different.
One of the things that I like about James Gunn a lot, in the Suicide Squad and in this, is that not only do the characters have bright, colorful costumes that are comic accurate, there's no eye rolling. Nobody's like commenting on the costumes. Nobody mentions Superman shorts. It's one of those things where, like, Marvel, it just keeps on. And again, I like Marvel movies and I like that stuff, but like it goes back to the days of X-Men 1, where Cyclops is ripping into, what do you want, a yellow spandex? Like, if there's that kind of stuff happens a lot in Marvel. And I saw a similar thing happen in the latest Fantastic Four trailer, where someone's telling the Thing, say clobbering time, and the Thing is so dismissive of it, and it's like, why put that in there? Like, just like, why take something that the fans like latch onto, and one of the things that the fans know from the character, know his catchphrase, love that character. Like, why would you be eye-rolly about that and just be like, ugh?
Yeah, and the world, if you had metahumans in your world for some time, there's a good chance that they've had special uniforms and disguises for some time. It wouldn't be something that people would need to comment on all the time anyway, because they would be used to it, more or less.
Yeah. So for me, like, this stuff, like, Ultraman looked cool, Hawkgirl and the Justice Gang look cool, and their costumes are kind of, I'm not going to say goofy, I'm going to say comic book like, and I think that's great. I think it's like embracing it. One of the things with like Spider-Man that was so great was, this is Spider-Man. This is what the costume has to look like.
Yep. And
nobody was like, oh, red and blue, you look dumb or whatever. No, it's Spider-Man. That's how we all know Spider-Man. And I just like that James Gunn's like the detachable kid in the Suicide Squad. His outfit is not set up for a nighttime jungle beach assault. Like, it's not set up for that, but it doesn't matter because I'm watching a comic book. So that's one of the things I definitely like about James Gunn. And I'm hoping that Lanterns understands that and that we get comic accurate costumes. I mean, it doesn't have to be one for one, but I want it to look like Green Lantern looks. Like, there's been variations of Green Lantern, like in, video games and stuff, where it's more like, looks like segmented armor, but it still has the same color scheme and shape of things. Even in the movie I appreciated that, even though it was like a skin tight muscle-y suit looking thing where you could see every single like sinew and muscle and everything. It was still green, black, a little bit of black in the midsection with the white Lantern logo on it. So as long as they get a general sort of Green Lantern comic accurate look, I'm not really concerned with like the materials it's made of. I just want it to look like Hal Jordan. If they can get away with the white gloves, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
I'll be very happy. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm really hoping that James Gunn's input into the Lantern series is just embrace what people have loved, for the last like 70 years. Like, just do it. Just do it. I want them looking like this.
And they should.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any more thoughts on the movie?
Just that if you were somebody who was on the fence, didn't know if you were going to go see it or not, it is absolutely a movie. And I don't do this, but I would recommend going to see it in theater. It was a great experience. I got to catch it in IMAX, so hearing all the sounds was pretty wild. I'll probably, now that I have seen it once, I'll probably take my daughter to go see it here in another week or two and go catch it for a second time and try to memorize all of Guy's dialogue. But it is definitely a movie I recommend you go check out, and hopefully it does well. Yeah.
And for me, there was a lot more Guy in the movie than I thought was going to be, which is really nice. He's not like a main character. He pops in every once in a while, but it is like definitely throughout the film. I thought he'd probably show up for like 3 or 4 minutes and then bounce, but he's definitely a main character. He's just not like always there. I think he has a great story arc. And I can't wait to see more with him. I can't wait to see this again. I'm going to go see it again this weekend, I think, with the rest of my family. And absolutely adored the movie. I thought it was great. Probably my favorite Superman movie.
It is for me.
Which before yesterday was Man of Steel. I really like Man of Steel. I like the concept of Man of Steel as far as it's the origin story of Clark Kent, which I thought was a really fun take on a thing. But this one feels more like the Superman that appears in the pages of the comics for me. Like I really, really, really like this. Superman's always been kind of a boring character to me. Again, he's overpowered. He's a goody two shoes. In this, he's struggling with that. He has kind of anger issues. The scene where Guy blocks the windows there, and you've seen it in the trailer where Superman has his hands down on a console and he's standing there breathing, and you could see his inner struggle. Like he wants to save everybody and he's upset that he can't.
Yeah.
He wants to be, it's insane how good he is at Superman. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good movie, and I'm glad. Listen, like I really enjoyed the Aquaman movies. I think that was the last one to come out. Maybe Blue Beetle came out around the same time, like just months apart. I enjoyed the DCEU. I enjoyed all of that. But this movie, if you're a DC fan, will make you happy because it's been such a long time since not maybe too long, but it's definitely a breath of fresh air to be able to like watch a movie and see Superman's chest on the big screen and see Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and all these people. So if you're a fan of DC, 100% check it out. If you're a Snyder fan like I am, go check it out. Give it a shot. Don't just blindly come in hot in the comments section. Allow yourself to just enjoy the character, enjoy the ride, have fun.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it's about. You should want to go to the movie theater to see something entertaining that you can enjoy, and I think that if you go check this out, you're going to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Seeing this again, I'm looking forward to Peacemaker. I'm looking forward to Clayface. I'm waiting for that goddamn Batman 2 to come out because I really like the Batman, the first one. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, dude. Yeah. Thanks to everybody who joined me in the chat. If you have like any thoughts and stuff, please put them in the comments below. I'm going to be back tomorrow night doing a late show because today Green Lantern Corps issue 6 dropped, which I can't wait to read that. And I'll be talking about that with Vactor tomorrow night. It's a later show, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So a little bit late, but that's how schedules go. And like always on Lanterns Live, you never know when something will come through, and I'll talk about it. So be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when I go live. Yes, also it'll give you updates on when I have upcoming episodes. So keep an eye on that. Join me on all the socials at Lanterns Live. Join Will at Green Lanterns Podcast. GreenLanternsPodcast.com has all your links and stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Perfect. He does what I can't do, which I wish I could do, is like a weekly show, like kind of giving the news of Green Lantern. Gave me a really
on your channel though.
Yeah, you gave me a really nice shout out on the most recent episode. Thank you so much. I'm really excited with the page, how the page is growing. I'm a little under 100 away from you. I'm catching up to you.
You'll be there in a couple days then.
Yeah. So thanks to all the new subscribers. I'm going to continue to just post like I feel like my shorts on this YouTube channel have become one of those things where it's just like I'm rounding up sort of any Green Lantern stuff you might have missed online. Like any sort of like video clips that have to do with Green Lantern, I'll post them on the page. So stay tuned to that. Like just today on DC Worlds Collide video game, they announced that the Justice Gang minus Hawk Girl, which is stupid. Like,
well, she's already in the game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. But the Justice Gang version, and then guys in Minecraft, for Christ's sake, like, dude, Guy Gardner, probably the 4th most famous Green Lantern, is in Minecraft, the biggest video game on the planet, And that blows my mind that Guy Gardner is now becoming a mainstream character that people will know. Thanks to James Gunn for that. Thanks to Nathan Fillion for that. It's really, really exciting to me. So head over to lanternslive.com, watch some videos, and thanks for joining me. Well, I'll catch you in a couple weeks. We'll be talking about Green Lantern 25, the big one. Yeah. So you're going to be on it along with Vector because it's a crossover.
Yep.
All right, dude. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time. Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us. It's been a great show. And as always, beware my podcast. It's Lanterns Live. Bye.